Hi everyone, it's Tamari the Astro Fashionista. Welcome to my channel. I'm always bringing you the latest astrology, fashion, beauty, interior design videos, mainly astrological forecasts. And today we are going to talk about March 2019, which is really exciting. So we have a big month coming up, you guys. There's lots of activities, and make sure that you watch the video not only for your sun sign, your zodiac sign, but also your rising sign and your moon sign. I actually find that the rising signs might be a little more accurate because it's closer to what might be actually in your birth chart or natal chart. So without further ado, let's start talking about March. Okay, so I'm going to start out by giving the general forecast, what's going on for the entire month, and then I'll get into specifics for each sign. So Friday, March 1st, we had Venus move into Aquarius. And Venus is the sign of love and beauty. It's Taurus's and Libra's ruler. And when it moves into Aquarius, Aquarius is an air sign. It's very eccentric. It's very forward thinking. It doesn't like to play by the rules. That means we're all feeling a little more like feisty and rebellious when it comes to love, beauty, creativity, all of that stuff. So that was Friday. On Tuesday, March 5th, this is a big day, you guys. We have Mercury retrograde. I know everyone cannot stand Mercury retrograde, but it doesn't have to always be a bad thing. So Mercury retrograde is actually when Mercury, the communication planet, which is Gemini and Virgo's ruler, appears to be moving backwards. It's stationary, so it's not moving forward. And that can be a time of confusion. There's problems with travel, electronics, communication. So it's really not advised to sign important contracts. It's not advised to travel if you really have to. It really affects more short distance travel, but all travel can be affected. It's not a great time to like send really important emails. Like if you are going to, which we know life goes on, just make sure you recheck before you press send. And if you're signing any contracts, just make sure really to read the fine print. That same day, we actually have, actually not the same day. And I also forgot to mention that Mercury will be in Pisces still when it's retrograde, and Mercury is actually considered to be both in detriment and fall in Pisces, which means that it's not really that comfortable there. So we got to be extra cautious this go around. The next day, Wednesday, March 6th, we have a new moon in Pisces, and it is Pisces season. So when there's a new moon, there's going to be a new moon in the sign that season it is. So new moon in Pisces is all about new beginnings. It's a great time to start new activities, but keep in mind Mercury is retrograde, so it's not really a great time to like launch a business or start a new relationship. This is more about maybe going back to something that you've already done in the past and redoing that over, or finishing something that you haven't finished. That same day, you guys, this is a huge astrological placement. We have Uranus moving into Taurus, my sign. Uranus is the planet of change, unexpected change, disruption. It likes to shake things up. And Taurus is all about stability and keeping things status quo and being really stable and seeing things through to the end. So when Uranus comes into Taurus, which is considered in fall, it's not really a comfortable energy. The important thing about this is that it's going to last pretty long time, till about 2026. Yes. Okay, so Uranus in Taurus is going to bring lots of change on a global level, not just personally. Globally, we might see changes to the financial system. We have Bitcoin, and we're kind of maybe moving away to a different type of currency. Maybe cash is going to go away. Who knows? Maybe there's going to be a new form of currency that comes in to replace credit. We'll see how this plays out. But currency probably will be definitely affected. Agriculture, the way we harvest food. There could be changes to the way we communicate about things. Big, large issues being brought to the forefront. There could be issues regarding, let's see what else Taurus rules. Just overall stability and security, maybe national security. Pretty much anything that falls under Taurus's domain, and Taurus rules the throat. It's all about money, security. There is a creative aspect to Taurus, so there might be some creative global things that are new that come about. But this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Uranus only moves into a sign every 84 years. So we'll not be in Taurus again in our lifetime, unless somehow we start living to like 150 or something. And even then it still wouldn't be back in Taurus. But yeah, it's a pretty special thing. It just came out of Aries. So those were Aries issues we're dealing with. Now we're dealing with Taurus issues. If you are a Taurus, this is definitely going to affect you. I'll talk about it in the Taurus horoscope specifically. But yes, it's going to be big changes. And we got a glimpse into what these changes were last year when Uranus moved into Taurus for a brief period before it went retrograde back into Aries. So that was between May and November of 2018. So think about what happened during that time, and we might be revisiting. Last time Uranus in Taurus, I believe there was like the Great Depression. So if you go back in history and Google Uranus and Taurus, you can kind of see what kind of things we might be dealing with again. And the Social Security system was set up during that time. Okay, then we have Wednesday, March 20th, the first day of spring. That means the sun moves into Aries. It's the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, fall equinox in the southern hemisphere if you live below the equator. And this is all about new beginnings, you guys. Spring is always a fresh new time. It's actually International Astrology Day. It's the beginning of a new astrological cycle because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And so in the Western Hemisphere, this is just a new start for the next 12 months as we start a new zodiac cycle. And obviously Mercury is still retrograde during this time, so it's not going to be a up and moving type of start, but it is going to be a fresh new start. We also have a full moon that same day in Libra, and Libra is Aries opposite sign. Every time there's a full moon, it's in the opposite sign of the sign the sun is in. So my advice would just be to be a little more diplomatic around this time, take on Libra traits, because Aries is a very self-focused sign. And then on Tuesday, March 26th, we have Venus entering in Pisces. So it leaves eccentric Aquarius. It enters into romantic and compassionate Pisces, where it's a little more softer. We might feel a little more romantic. We might feel a little more creative and wanting to express ourselves. So it should be a pretty nice time when Venus moves into Pisces. And then Thursday, March 28th, Mercury retrograde ends. So I know that's going to be a really great thing. Everybody's going to be excited about. Obviously, well, not obviously, I don't know if many of you guys know that there is a shadow period before retrograde, Mercury retrograde starts, and after Mercury retrograde ends. So although Mercury will be moving direct, it'll still be moving kind of slow. So just give it about a week or so before you really like make any major moves. But for the most part, we should be safe after the 28th. And then on the last day of March, I believe March 30th, yes, we have Mars entering in Gemini. And Mars in Gemini will bring the focus on communication issues. It'll bring it on maybe media. We might see some more scandals coming out. There's been a lot of tea, you guys, over the past. February was a hot mess. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what type of energy Mars brings to the forefront. Mars is all about action and starting something in aggression. And when you mix it with Gemini, it could mean some sort of like, you know, something's exposed, or there's some sort of verbal arguments or some sort of intense thing that we see maybe on a global scale, but also in your life. So keep watching to see how these astrological transits affect your sign. Okay, so this is the Gemini Sun, Moon, and Rising March 2019 horoscopes. And if you don't know where your rising sign is, you can always go to my website, astrofashionista.com, click on your zodiac, and run your free birth chart. Okay, Gemini for March. We have a lot going on this month. On Friday, March 1st, we had Venus move into Aquarius in your 9th house. The 9th house rules like higher education, travel, religion, ethics, that sort of thing. So this could possibly be a good time to travel. The only thing is Mercury is going retrograde. So travel at your own risk. It might be more of a time if you want to maybe go back and learn more about a subject that you were interested in and maybe you never got to. Maybe you want to read a new book. Mercury is all about redoing. So because Venus is in this area of your chart, I don't highly recommend taking a major trip. But if you have to, just know that some snafus may happen. That is actually on Tuesday, March 5th, that Mercury goes retrograde in your 10th house. That would be affecting more career issues. The 10th house rules like your destiny in the world, your reputation. It's your career on a grand scale. We also have a new moon there, and the sun is there. So that tells me there's a lot of energy going to that area of your chart. You might be thinking about where your career is going, where your destiny is going, what's going on coming up for you career-wise. Keeping in mind that Mercury is retrograde, so it might be more of like a brainstorming time for you and really putting your nose to the grindstone so that you, when it does move direct, you can have some energy to put towards that area of your life. And then on Wednesday, March 6th, we have a new moon. We talked about the new moon in Pisces. Again, new moons are fresh starts, so you might want to maybe journal about your career wishes on that day. We also have Uranus moving into Taurus on that same day, March 6th. And Taurus rules your 12th house. And the 12th house is all about your subconscious. It's things underneath the surface. It's secrets. It's things that we don't see every day. It's hidden issues. So Uranus moving there tells me that there's changes happening for you on a psychological level. There's things, your way of being, your way of thinking, the way you, it's right before you move into your first house, which is all about yourself. So it's something that's bubbling beneath the surface that's changing to make you come out on a different, as a different person, let's say. This is a 7-year transit. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to happen very slowly, but there is some changes going on there. You might be feeling a little drained this month because when Taurus, Mars is in Taurus, it's considered in detriment, but it also is in your 12th house. In the 12th house, Mars doesn't really love being in the 12th house because it likes being in the 6th, the opposite house, which means that you might be feeling a little more sluggish and slow moving, maybe low energy, but this isn't going to last very long. Mars will move into your sign actually the next month, which I'll talk about. And then on March 20th, we have the first day of spring, and that is the new astrological time. It's a new 12-month cycle for us, and the sun moves into Aries. Aries rules your 11th house. So that tells me that there's going to be more of an emphasis at the end of the month on, like, you might be feeling like going out more. You might feel like networking more. You might feel like you're getting more attention than usual when you go out. Really taking advantage of networking with people, making new contacts, new connections, which Gemini is actually very good at. And remember, you have Jupiter in your 7th house right now until about December. And Jupiter in the 7th is bringing luck and expansion to your partnership area. So this actually, that placement could be working along with the Jupiter to bring some new, fresh new people into your life. And maybe that'll help the career efforts that you have. And then on March, I forgot to talk about the full moon on in Libra in your 5th house, and that is the same day as the first day of spring. And full moons are all about completions and things coming to fruition. And the 5th house is about romance. It's about children. It's about creativity. Maybe there's some project you've been working on and you finally finish. Maybe you finally feel like you can connect and go date some new people because you maybe, I don't know, dating hasn't been good, and maybe you finally have a good date. How else could this play out? If you have children, there might be something happening with your children that is completing the end of some new cycle or something like that. And then on Tuesday, March 26th, Venus enters Pisces, and so it's moving from your 9th house to your 10th. Again, that's helping your career area. So whatever you might have been thinking about working on, maybe you met a new person and they're wanting to start some new deal or do some new business partnership, and then Venus moves here and it's kind of blessing that area to help you. That can play out in several different ways, but Venus in the 10th is actually, anywhere Venus goes usually is a good thing. And then on Mars, sorry, not on Mars, on March 30th, Mars moves into Gemini. actually not, I said next month, but it moves at the end of the month, moves into your sign. So you'll be feeling a little more energetic. You'll be feeling like you want to maybe start something new. Mercury will be out of retrograde. It'll be direct because it ends on March 28th. Mercury goes direct. So you're just feeling like a fresh new start. It's a new season. And you might be really feeling like, okay, I'm going to go after some new things, career-wise, relationship-wise, and then you're gearing up for your birthday month in a couple months. So all in all, it looks like a pretty decent month for Gemini. And I look forward to seeing you next month.